My last one is Far Cry 5. I've done so much. It's kind of a Days Gone situation where I've done so much in the game that I feel like it should be over with, but I still haven't finished the story.
Oh, do you feel like it's bloated, or do you feel like it's
Yeah,
just
it is bloated, but I love the Far Cry series. This Far Cry series is a guilty pleasure for me. I seem to love every game, but they don't really step it up too much. It's kind of the same, but for some reason I'm like, oh, I gotta play every game. It's just so addicting, and I feel like I'm adding on to the problem of video games. But I just really enjoy them.
I know what you mean. Like you feel like, man, they should really like do something new and something fresh, but at the same time you're like, but I like this. So I'll
Yeah,
just
and I'm not saying it's entirely the same. You do get a jetpack. You get several different well, not jetpacks, but backpacks that do different things. Like you can shoot rockets to kind of wipe out a good chunk of enemies, or you get one that I think has a flamethrower kind of power, and so that's very new. I thought that brought a nice little like superpower to your character that you can use if you're in a really tight situation. So that's different. They took away a lot of stuff from New Dawn that I really like. New Dawn is my favorite Far Cry game because I feel like they had the most unique ambitions in changing up the gameplay, but the game got panned so much that I feel like a lot of features got removed because people didn't like it, unfortunately, because it had a very unique enemy upgrade system. Because at the beginning, the enemies don't have armor on, and then later on, they look like bikers basically, and they have a bunch of tough armor on. And you can also liberate um, factions multiple times, and I found those extremely satisfying to liberate. And they totally took that out from Far Cry 5, and I think there are little tiny hints of it, but it's just not the same. And but still, I really enjoy Far Cry 5 because one thing about the Far Cry series that I love that the Grand Theft Auto games used to have, and that's random moments, random unscripted moments. You know when you're walking around in San Andreas, and all of a sudden a plane will just slam into the ground, blowing up cars.
oh, I never had that happen, but I've had like random shootouts and stuff.
Oh, that seems to happen. Random planes will just run into each other in San Andreas or run into buildings. I mean, fly into
Holy
buildings.
smoke.
Sorry, you never seen
Oh
that?
no, yeah, I've never had that happen. That's
Oh
crazy.
man, yeah. I mean, have you finished San Andreas, right?
Oh no, yeah, I've never finished a single Grand Theft Auto game.
Oh well, maybe
But
that's
that's
why. Maybe I haven't
because
put enough time into it to see those random events. But that's what the Far Cry games have.
it's one of those games like Grand Theft Auto. It's just one of those games. Like even though I never beat it, I still have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still, like, I go and I play through and I do a bunch of stuff. But I think my problem is when it comes to like such open-ended types of games, I'll just go and do whatever I want. I'll never stick to actually doing missions and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll never beat it. And that's one of the main reasons I still haven't beaten The Witcher to this day is because there's a new side quest somewhere and I'm like, oh, just let me go do that, even though I'm under leveled. I fight my way through anyway, and I'm like, oh, because the game lets you do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
if the game didn't let you do it, it was just like, ah, you're too low level, come back later or whatever. I guess I'd just play through the story. But the game is like, you're low level, but you can try it if you want. I'm like, okay. I'll bang my head against the wall for a couple hours just to complete the one, but I'll have fun anyway, and for me, that's a win.
Man, in San Andreas, just maybe sometimes just pick up the game and just start walking down the street. Just something as simple as just walking down the street, and I guarantee you'll run into something unscripted, and it's incredible. It might even pull you into the game more because I really wish more open worlds did that, where you can just simply walk down the street, and then all of a sudden, a car just runs into a building, and someone starts shooting at you, and then another car pulls up and starts shooting at them, and it's just a whole havoc. Police show up, and you're just running out of a whole situation that you didn't even you didn't intentionally put yourself into.
Right, no, no, and I've done that actually.
Okay.
That's my favorite part about Grand Theft Auto games is to do that stuff. I'll just go around the world and do random stuff, and it's fun.
I,
It's
I don't
just fun to be in a Grand Theft Auto world.
I don't know if it's entirely intentional in Far Cry, but I've had crazier moments of unscripted events happening. I don't know where the footage is. Far Cry 4. I was just simply talking to an NPC about the next mission. all of a sudden the music gets dramatic and the everybody's freaking out. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And uh, it's because a hawk was chasing everybody down.
What?
There was a hawk like targeting the NPCs, targeting me, and everybody's freaking out, shooting at the hawk. And all of a sudden, a plane comes in and starts shooting at the hawk. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in the video game, where a little tiny bird, a hawk, is attacking people, and it is so bad. The moment is so dramatic that an airplane comes in and starts shooting at the bird.
Oh my gosh.
I need to find that footage. It is incredible, and I think I eventually shoot it, and it just slowly floats down to the ground. I'm like, man, that's kind of anticlimactic. I think that hawk killed everybody.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Oh man, if I ever find it, I'm sending it to you, or at least putting it on YouTube in a short. Um, and so that happened in Far Cry 4. Far Cry 5, I just got finished liberating a stopping point where the enemies would just stop people and like kill them or something like that. And so everything's peaceful, and then all of a sudden, one of the bad guys' vehicles runs over a horse from one of the good guys, and a whole war just breaks out because this random event of having a horse being ran over.
Dude, that sounds like Skyrim levels of ridiculous non-scripted stuff.
Thank you for listening to this podcast clip. If you want to watch more of the podcast, the full podcast is in the link in the description, along with my guest channel name. And if you would like to guest in a future podcast, please contact me and we shall talk so we can discuss many, many topics, more to come. Other than that, have a glorious day.